everybody! So yesterday I was planning on seeing Fantastic Four in the theater, but I heard the horrible reviews and that it was worse than Batman and Robin. I thought, I don't really feel like seeing a mediocre superhero movie today. Maybe it's awesome. I haven't seen it, but we'll see. I'll probably catch it later on, maybe on Blu-ray. Decided, what could I watch instead? And I've already seen Shaun the Sheep, which was the other main release this week. And so I decided to check out Ricki and the Flash. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's not great. It's not a masterpiece, but it's an overall entertaining film. It's directed by Jonathan Demme, stars Meryl Streep. And for some reason, people like to rag on Meryl Streep, even though I think she's hardly ever put out a bad performance. She's solid here. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Dablo Cody, who wrote the script, who I love Dablo Cody, she said that Meryl Streep basically learned how to play the guitar in a couple of months so that she could do her own music in the movie. We already know that she can sing from Prayer Home Companion and Mamma Mia and Into the Woods, so that's no surprise, but she does pretty well on the guitar. I was impressed by it. She plays this woman named Ricki. When she was younger, had great ambitions of becoming a rock star and actually left her family in order to pursue those dreams. And it didn't really work out that well for her. She lives in California. She plays at a dive bar and doing mostly covers. Her boyfriend in the movie is Springfield, who's actually quite good in his performance. Finds out that her daughter is doing really poorly and has just been left by her husband and is really depressed, and her ex-husband, played by Kevin Kline, handle it all, needs help, asks her in sort of a moment of desperation to come and help Julie. So she decides to go, and she's been estranged from her family for a long time. They're pretty bitter, they're pretty resentful of her, and they kind of have cause to be sort of bitter and resentful. I mean, she hasn't been very active in the family, and she doesn't really feel like she belongs in the family. Like, that's one thing I really appreciate about this movie, is that I felt like the relationships were kind of complex, and I think that's because of Dablo Cody. She's so good at writing in these characters that are tough to figure out, that you think you know at first, and then they're actually a little bit different. Like, for instance, the Meryl Streep character, she's this rocker, she's got this edge, and yet she's a Republican, and she's a huge supporter of President Bush. So, that makes her interesting and layered and a little bit hard to figure out. So I like that. And all the performances are good in this movie. They all do a good job. I thought the scenes when they're all together interacting, and when they're kind of arguing and fighting and things like that, I thought that felt really authentic. There's a particularly great dinner scene where they're all going back and forth and they're all talking and they're bitter in their own ways, and I felt like that felt really authentic to an actual, like, kind of tense dinner conversation. Problems with this movie is that it is pretty trite, the plot. It's not as bold as, like, Dablo Cody's Young Adult or even Juno. It's certainly not as funny as Juno, that's for sure. But I thought that it had some interesting things to say. One of my favorite topics in movies is work. And I thought this did have some interesting things to say about work, because here she sacrificed her family for her dreams. And, it's like, in a certain way, that's incredibly selfish. But what do? Do you stay and not go for your dreams? Like, it's one of those things that I think is an interesting question that everyone has to kind of ask, is like, how far are you willing to go for what you want in life? When does it lead? When does it cross over from being a good thing to pursue your dreams to being a bad thing? And so I liked that, and I also thought that it brings up some really good points about the fact that if Ricki had been a man and had abandoned a man had abandoned his family the way that she had abandoned her family, I think that everybody would be way less critical. One problem, even though I really thought the music was well done and I enjoyed it, is I thought that it the songs were too long. Like, we really didn't need to have a whole song. We could have just had one verse or one chorus and gotten the feel for it and enjoyed it, but it just made it drag out a little bit too long. And I thought that it was disappointing that she did so many covers, because I get it in the bar that that's probably what she would have to do, but I think that if music was her dream, and that's what she wanted to do in her life, because she's actually, like, fairly, at the beginning of the movie, she's pretty much happy with her life. Like, she doesn't regret, I think, the choices that she made as far as music. She feels a little bit bad, but it's really not until she sees her children that she feels badly about what she's done. And so I would just picture somebody like that would sing more of their own music, especially at the end when she's just singing for her kids. Like, I don't know why in that moment you would sing a cover song. That doesn't make sense to me. But overall, if you're just looking for a pleasant movie about a family that you can enjoy, it's definitely one that, if it's on cable, I highly recommend giving it a watch. I think you'll enjoy it. So that's my thoughts on Ricki and the Flash. Let me know what you think if you get the chance to see it. And I guess if you see any of those other movies, let me know about them as well. I do have a review of Shaun the Sheep on the channel, so you can check that out. But I hope you're doing great, and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!